That's the, as much as Rothwell and Fernandes are beefing up sort of areas in the pitch where they're light in number, where they're really short is up front, especially as we say if Igamane and Cyril Dessers go. Those deals, I must say, seem to have gone a bit quiet today. Talking France that Lille are perhaps looking elsewhere. I'm still told that there's still not been an official bid made as far as I'm aware, and whatever discussions there's been, Lille are still a wee bit hesitant about the numbers that Rangers are looking for. I think, I'm not sure they're prepared to go much higher than £13.5 million plus add-ons. And if Rangers are serious and about wanting to sort of make a statement in terms of selling a player this summer, they're going to hold out for as much as possible. But this is where the new regime's resolve is going to be tested. When we sat down, me and Scott sat down with Parag Marathi and Andrew Kavanagh a week or so ago, they were insistent they don't need to sell this summer. They're insistent that the money is there, the finances are in place, that they will only sell if the deal's right. And so this will be the big major test of that. They've already seemed to have fended off whatever interest there was in Cyril Dessers from AEK Athens. I'm told that interest hasn't gone away, but again, it's these deals are taking longer than most people expected. I wrote a piece the other week. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think if Rangers can stall things and get to July 22nd with those two players still in the books, and certainly just to get them through that first round of qualifiers, I think that would suit most parties. Whether or not the buying clubs are prepared to wait that long is another thing entirely. But ins and outs, there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, even that, I've just wrote a piece that's on the website just now that tomorrow Jose Cifuentes is going to be checking back in to the club. The long forgotten. I mean, he seems to have been somebody that has slipped out of memory, out of sight, out of mind. But he's coming back. People I've spoken to are insistent he has no intention of leaving the club. He's got another couple of years left in his deal, I think. He was to 2027 he signed. There was interest in him from Greece. He's obviously came in under Michael Beale 2023. Had an okay start, but then really sort of fell away once Beale started to struggle. Philippe Clement didn't really fancy him much. Got sent to Brazil, didn't do much there. But since he's gone to Greece, everyone I've spoken to over in Greece seems to say he had a really good solid season last season, 29 appearances. And he's coming back by all accounts with his confidence renewed and believes that he can fight his way into this Rangers team. I mean, whether that's going to be the case, we need to wait and see. But what I would say in his favour is that Russell Martin promised the day he was unveiled that this is a clean slate for every single player at Ibrox, that they will get a chance to impress, they will get a chance to show that they're worthy of a place in the team and a second chance. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out.
Just before we move on from those guys, Rangers is he okay? Asks Andy. Would that cup tie them though? I think he means if they
for Europe. No. There's no cup tie laws in UEFA competition. Not even say for example, if it's Igamane we're talking about going to Lille, they're playing the Europa League. There's no cup tie laws. Doesn't even matter if it's obviously the qualifiers to group stages to the knockout stages. There's no cup tie laws anymore. Those get, the final one was the January window one that gets scrapped a couple of years ago. So basically, if you're allowed to play in the same competition for two different teams now, that gets scrapped a couple of years ago.
Keith, Andy rightly says, look, Rangers need to hold out for as much as they can get. But look, see if they get offered 13 million for Igamane, a guy that, I mean, he didn't even get a game till Christmas, more or less.
Yeah.
They should be biting the hand off that, surely.
Yeah. I mean, look, if it was me, I would do the deal. Yeah, absolutely. As I've said, I think that Igamane is a player with really quite impressive levels of natural talent. What he can do in the ball is incredible. He's the sort of guy that could get you out your seat. He does the unexpected. Bit of a nightmare to play against, I would have thought. But also, I do come back to the fact that I think he's a hard guy to coach down. I think he sees himself, he plays like a free spirit. He doesn't play within a structure. I don't think you could, if Russell Martin kind of style of play is going to be predicated on triggers and high presses and leading from the front line, Igamane's, I don't think, going to do that for him, because Igamane plays the game that he wants to play it. And I think he struggles a little bit with taking on information as well. So I think Igamane's just one of these guys that goes out and plays the game like he did in the street, you know, growing up as a kid. And you'll either love that or you design a system which tactically doesn't have much room for it. And I think what we have learned about Russell Martin, and it'll be interesting to see it actually on the grass, you know, when Rangers start the ball rolling for real. It'll be fascinating to see how that transpires, what it looks like. But I would have imagined that a fairly central plank of it will be structured pressing. And that will require your striker, your number 9, on many occasions to be the trigger, and to be the guy that makes the first press, that the rest chase in behind. And I think, and I hope I'm not being unkind, but I think that might have been a problem in terms of Igamane. I think it was even a problem towards the end of last season, and it was a reason why he more often than not would start on the bench towards the end of last season. So for all those reasons, I think if you can get a real hefty bid and, you know, make a lot of profit on a guy that you signed a fairly knockdown price 12 months ago, yeah, I think I would be largely tempted not to jump at the first offer, and Rangers should resist that, and because it's not as if this is a guy with 2 years left in his contract. I think he's got another 4 yet to run. So they're not up against it in terms of they are with Raskin, for example. If Raskin...
I spoke with Issam Chirai, obviously the old assistant manager that left a couple of weeks ago. I spoke with him this week, and he was insistent. This is a guy that Rangers have only seen a fraction of his true potential. And whatever... I believe that, Andy. Yeah, I mean, and you're right what you say in terms of he's that sort of street player that, you know, Tanner bar player, if you want to call him that. There's times where his decision making is what's let him down. It's not his talent, it's not any ability he's got. It's that just when to pass the ball, when to carry the ball, when to take the shot on, when to set up somebody else. That's been... I mean, he's somebody that loves a nutmeg. I mean, there was times, I think back to the game against Fraserburgh in the Cup, where Rangers were, you know, they were on top, obviously, and they'd got a goal, but they weren't running away with the game at that point, and it was because he kept trying to nutmeg somebody, and there was a pass on, and there was never just make the ball, do the work, move the ball quicker, and you'll cut through their defence. So
game intelligence, Andy, that's the question mark that I think I would have.
He's an off the cuff player, but what he needs is a wee bit of game smart, street smarts as well. So, but I think, you know, whatever Rangers are prepared to sell him now, you can double that maybe whatever next summer. I think his potential is that high. It's a bit as it follows the trajectory that Luke Clement talked about when he signed him. They had to sign him last summer, probably when he wasn't ready, especially in a personal sense and that the maturity sense, moving to Scotland. That's why it took, as you say, 3-4 months for him to acclimatise and get used to the pace, the training, just the lifestyle changes over here. Had they waited to this summer, Rangers couldn't afford to buy him. That's why they had to buy him last summer. So they'll believe that if they can hang on to him another year, then that, you know, whatever price tag they've got him now will be, you know, multiples next year. But, you know, I think Rangers at this moment, they don't have that benchmark, that price tag level that Celtic have set. And I think there's something, and that's all very well and good saying, they're well entitled to stick their ground and wait for a fee. But I also think Rangers need to, you know, invest some money. And if they need it back, if they are confident in their model, if they're confident in their scouting system, they'll believe that they can get somebody to replace them.